October 291,929. The Wall Street stock market crashed. The market capitalization fell by $14 billion in a single day. 4 times the wealth of the annual budget of the US government evaporates in a matter of hours, historically known as Black Tuesday. Therefrom, the United States ushered in the worst economic depression in history. Bankruptcies and suicides followed. People started keeping cash. Nobody wants to buy stocks. This is true for Omaha stockbroker Howard. Warren Buffett said, "It's just to add insult to injury." Because of his first child with his wife Leela, just born the year before, the family's financial situation is not optimistic, and the stock market plummeted. Though he couldn't find customers at all, even eating for a family of 3 has become a problem. That time, he had to go home early every day. There was no other entertainment at the time. So, after 10 months, that is, August 301,930, the second child of the Howard Buffett family was born. I named the boy Warren Buffett. Many years later, said the person who knows the stock market best in the world, have a very special emotion about the financial crisis. I was conceived during the stock market crash. If the stock market hadn't crashed at that time, if father must go to work normally, then it is impossible to predict what will happen. Interestingly, on the wall of the Hathaway walkway under the blog, there's one hanging from it. News on the day of the stock market crash in 1929. Newspaper. Warren Buffett said, "That's to warn yourself. In this world." Suffice it to say, there was no stock market crash of 1929. There is no such thing as today's stock god. It seems that from the moment he was born, he lived all his life, is destined to be in the history of the stock market. Leave a strong mark. Today, I'm going to use 12 keywords to decipher the most successful investor of all time, Warren Buffett's life. The first ingredient to become the richest man in the world is what? Well, you have to love money first. Since childhood, Warren Buffett makes no secret of his love for money. Maybe it was because he was born during the Great Depression. At a young age, he had this feeling. Money can make me independent. Then I can use my whole life, do what I want to do. And what I want to do most is work for myself. I don't want someone else to dominate me. Do what you want to do every day. This is very important to me. Childhood. His favorite toy is a piggy bank. Favorite game to play. It's all about numbers. At the age of 7, when other children were still reading fairy tales, Warren Buffett's book borrowed from the library. But it's 10 Ways to Make $1,000. This book presents a wealth of practical business advice and money-making ideas. Warren Buffett was thrilled after reading it. Then he bragged to his friends, "I must be a millionaire before the age of 35. Otherwise, jump off the tallest building in Omaha." There is a saying that is good and seriously braggarts. Eventually, it will become awesome. After reading the Book of Enlightenment to Riches, Warren Buffett Jr. immediately took action and started his first business in life. From Grandpa Ernest's grocery store, a batch of chewing gum was entered. And go door to door and go to the neighbor's house to sell. Earn a profit of 2 cents for every whole pack sold. After that, he found it more profitable to sell Coke. So, he switched to selling Coke. When I was 9 years old, he can count the number of caps in the gas station. This is used to determine which drink sells the most. Unconsciously completed the market research. That's it. He tried ways to make money again and again, saving their own money one by one. At the age of 10, Warren Buffett went to New York for the first time. Father Howard will be when each child turns 10. Take the kids to the East Coast of the United States for a ride. For 3 children, was a big event in their lives. And Buffett went to New York. Not to go to the playground, not to the zoo. He asked his father to take him somewhere. It's the New York Stock Exchange. Over there, Warren Buffett was in a fiery atmosphere when people traded stocks. Deeply intrigued, especially a trader's inadvertent action. It is deeply imprinted in Buffett's mind. The trader actually hired a person to help him roll cigarettes. Buffett thought to himself, this trader can hire one person. Just do cigarettes. Just to satisfy personal preferences. This is bound to mean, even the majority of the people of the country, still mired in the Great Depression. But the owner of this cigarette worker, he is making a lot of money. That was the day. Just when he saw the cigarette worker, Warren Buffett is clearly aware. Where will your future go? Another thing that has had a profound impact on Buffett is, he met the legendary CIO of Goldman Sachs, Sidney Weinberg. Weinberg was the most prestigious man on Wall Street at the time, working in an ultra-luxury office building in Manhattan. Weinberg and Buffett and father and son chatted for half an hour. At the time of Buffett's departure, Weinberg hugged him exactly and asked him which stock you like best. Warren Buffett later recalled, maybe Weinberg will forget about it the next day, but I will remember it for the rest of my life. One of Wall Street's most legendary bigwigs. So much importance to Warren Buffett. Buffett was deeply encouraged by this child's view. I have strengthened the idea of making investments when I grow up. At the age of 11, Warren Buffett used the pocket money he and his sister had saved, $114, to buy his first stock. Even so, in the future, Buffett still feels self-conscious. Started my investment career too late. Investing should be started early. At the time, he was at a price of $38.25. Purchased 3 preferred shares of City Service. However, the stock price soon fell to $27. It made him feel horrible, stressed. So when the stock price rose back to $40, Buffett quickly threw it away. From this deal, the siblings made a total of $5. Later, the stock quickly rose to $200. As long as Buffett can hold on for a few more months, the money he earns will be nearly $100. This taught Warren Buffett an important lesson. It made him understand the value of patience. Warren Buffett was 12 years old. Father Howard gave up his business in the securities industry. He successfully ran for the House of Representatives. Soon after, so they moved their family to Washington. Warren Buffett doesn't like it very much. Gradually became a rebellious problem teenager. Academic performance plummeted, but his business is getting better and better. He began delivering several newspapers to his neighbors. At the same time, he also works as a caddy and sells magazines. When I was 14 years old, he has completed his business initiation book, 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. The first step proposed. His total savings reached $1. He was very proud. 15 years old. In the suburbs of Thurston County, Nebraska, Warren Buffett for $1,200. 40-acre farm was purchased and rented it out to a farmer, and the profits generated by the farm, half of it needs to be given to Warren Buffett. I think back to the days when I worked as a coolie. Warren Buffett feels that this is the business he wants. He didn't have to do any manual work himself, take advantage of labor leverage, to be able to have a stable income. In 1950, Warren sold the farm for twice as much. 5 years of profit sharing in his set appreciation. Obviously, this is one good business. In the actions and experiences again and again, Warren Buffett's business thinking has also matured step by step. In the book 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000, there was an idea that impressed Buffett. The book mentions that you can buy a scale. Let people pay to weigh themselves. It wasn't the weigher that impressed Buffett. It's the truth of making money. If you put the money earned, the reinvestment is used to purchase a new scale. This business can grow exponentially. Let's say the profit with the first scale. It takes 30 days to buy a second scale. Then it will only take 15 days to buy a third scale. The fourth station is 10 days. The fifth station is 5 days. And so on. Warren Buffett has not bought any of these scales, but he is partnering with his friend Tangden Lee. When doing a game business, the idea was used. They decided to buy a pachinko machine. The business plan looks like this. Pulleys at $25. Buy old pachinko machines and machines that need to be repaired. The new pachinko machine costs $300. The result, the return on capital of the pachinko machine is higher. Tangden Lee was in charge of repairing these pachinko machines. And then, they put these pachinko machines at their local barber shop. share the profits with the barbershop owner. This netted them more than $50 a week. In order to solve the market competition, they had to convince the barbershop owner. Fixing a pachinko machine is a difficult thing to do. It costs $400 per quarter. Hire someone to specialize in repairing machines. That way the barbershop won't be competing with the kids. Warren Buffett and Danley. Soon a small kingdom of pachinko machines was established. Everyone in high school knew about it at the time. So Warren Buffett and Danley were the coolest kids at one point. However, Buffett was before graduating from high school. I sold the tour for $1,200. Drama company. Because for Warren Buffett, the most alluring thing at the time wasn't entrepreneurship. Those scenes at the New York Stock Exchange stuck with him. When graduating from high school, he is on the photo of the school yearbook. Write down such a line. Loves math. Stockbroker of the future. By this time, Buffett had saved more than $6,000. Warren Buffett wants to skip college and go straight to business. But his father vetoed it. Buffett can't help it. I had to obey my father's orders. A thing in the late middle of high school. His academic performance has caught up. At the time of graduation it was 16 out of 350 graduates. This achievement, he was able to get into the University of Pennsylvania. Attended the Wharton School of Business. At the Wharton School, Warren Buffett's favorite course is Industry 101. The content of this course, including in the largest industries at the time, such as textiles, the ins and outs of operating businesses in steel and oil. 1948 year. Howard Buffett failed to be re-elected to Congress, so the family moved back to Omaha. And because of this, the last year of college, Warren chose his parents' alma mater, University of Nebraska. Here he took an accounting course. Later he referred to accounting as the language of business. Warren Buffett thinks, the aspiring investor, you have to learn to use the language fluently. During college, Warren Buffett has been reading books in the field of investing. He reads about new ways to make profits in the stock market, and stock market trends, technical analysis, and other classic books. Like most stock market newbies, he had also gone astray, trying to master the art of technical analysis in candlestick charts. And probably every trader, all have to go through such a stage. When I graduated from college at the age of 19, Warren Buffett already has $9,800 in deposits, probably the richest of his friends. But his wealth, mainly through the sale of newspapers and entrepreneurship, efforts to accumulate, and not through invest in the stock market. That's about to change. 1949. Benjamin Graham has published the book The Smart Investor. Long Graham has always been a successful value investor, the polar opposite of technical traders. His fund Graham Newman Co. Since its inception in 1936, the performance has consistently outperformed the Dow Jones Index, respected by smart investors. 3 major ideas about the stock market. Warren Buffett fell in love with him at first sight. These 3 concepts are 1. Intrinsic value. Stocks are part of a business. This means that it has intrinsic or practical value. 2nd. Mr. Market. Real investors won't be Mr. Market. Influenced by unpredictable emotions. Only the rise and fall of the price will be seen as an opportunity. Instead of letting these emotions go, influence your own investment decisions. 3. Margin of safety. When making decisions in the stock market, the intrinsic margin of safety must always be taken into account. This means you should insist the purchase price is more intrinsic or actual than the actual value. Stocks with larger discounts. Warren Buffett understands the point set out in the book. Be inspired by the book's ideas on value investing. He did one thing during this time. In the long run, this became one of his greatest assets. He began to research one company after another and build an internal or mental stock pool. He reads page by page of the purpose of the manual and the standards. Pool manual. Learn it about hundreds of companies. This allowed him to make a value investment in the future. A very important foundation was laid. It's different from what I thought when I graduated from high school. After graduating from the University of Nebraska, Warren Buffett wants to further his education, so I applied to Harvard Business School. He thought he would have relied on his college grades and business practice. It shouldn't be that hard to get into Harvard Business School. In the interview, Harvard's interviewer said, Buffett looks like he's only 16 years old. The face is 12-year-old figure. And the emotional performance of 9-year-old. If you apply after a few years, he's going to have a better chance. This statement is such an obvious rejection. And Warren Buffett, who was not emotionally intelligent at the time, I didn't hear it. He still has a lot of faith in himself. Wasn't until I received a written rejection letter that I woke up from a dream. Being rejected by Harvard was a big blow to Buffett, but it also became the center of his life, one of the luckiest misfortunes. Because he learned it. His favorite investor, Benjamin Graham, he is currently teaching at Columbia Business School. Although this time, the time for major admissions has long passed. But Warren Buffett's letter impressed David, the dean of the finance department in charge of admissions. His business and investment experience with Warren Buffett. There was a lot of interest. I was admitted without taking the exam. Warren Buffett is at home at Columbia. All his writings on Dodd and Graham, know it all, plus his own rich investment practice. He is always able to communicate with the teachers in depth. In their classrooms, Warren Buffett always rushes to answer all the questions. Dodd and Graham on this disciple. It's also a favorite. Dodd often invited Buffett to his home. And Graham gave Buffett more than 20 years of teaching. The first A+ points. Warren Buffett is like a fish in water in the mall. In the love field, he hit a wall everywhere. Because he was sad to find out. The girls didn't want to hear Benjamin at all. Graham's story. Didn't want to hear the concept of Mr. Market and security editor either. Review Warren Buffett's relationship history. His first date was not long after I moved to Washington. The date happens to be the shyest girl in high school. Therefore, 8 for two people is like a shy match. Silence remained almost the entire time. Later, Warren Buffett recalled that we can be two of the shyest people in the whole of America. Another time, Warren Buffett was dating a girl. The result was too intense. The car hit a cow. The most disastrous thing is, when graduating from high school, he used to drive a hearse, go pick up another girl on a date. At the age of 19, Warren Buffett has a crush on a girl named Betty. But Betty loves a boy who plays a ukulele. For the sake of competition, Warren Buffett also began to learn the instrument. Although the ukulele learned it, behind the scenes, I didn't look at Buffett. It just adds to him a painful memory of failure. However, the ukulele became his lifelong passion. However, in the summer of 1950, Warren Buffett's sister Bertie matched him, dating a girl named Susan Thompson. The question is, Susan had a boyfriend who was dating at the time, but Susan's dad didn't like the boy. I'm really not good at chatting with girls. Warren Buffett's approach is, play the ukulele for Susan. Susan wasn't impressed. Luckily, Susan's dad loves music. Though there are often such strange scenes later, Warren Buffett went to Susan, but it became him and Susan's parents playing the piano at home, chatting. Susan goes out on a date with her boyfriend. It turns out, it's a winning strategy. But the joint efforts of Warren Buffett and Susan's father, Susan ended up choosing to be with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett writes letters to relatives. Happy to report this. He said the girl was not good at all. She didn't know anything about stocks. But I guess I can ignore this shortcoming. April 1952. Warren Buffett and Susan are married. Life after marriage is sweet. Susan was like an angel sent by God. Warren Buffett. It also fills the family with love and laughter. They have since had 3 children. Susie, philanthropist, born in 1953. Howard businessman. He was born in 1954. Peter the musician, born in 1958. In the eyes of the outside world, Susan is believed to have a balancing force. This power is often Buffett's overly rational mind. Later, Buffett recalled, behind his success is Susan. Half the credit. It was Susan who made me who I am. Something like that. Warren Buffett in different interviews or documentaries mentioned many times. It's a pity, probably unbearable. Warren Buffett puts all his energy into investing. And Susan has sacrificed so much for the family. Married for 25 years. After the kids are going to college. In 1977, at the age of 45, Susan left Omaha, moved to San Francisco alone, to find a life that is truly your own. At the time of Susan's departure from Omaha, so he asked his friend Astrid Menkes, "Go take care of Warren Buffett." Because it's early, Susan knew that Buffett couldn't take care of herself. After Susan moved to San Francisco, Warren Buffett was devastated. Ultimately, also accepted the fact that his wife would not return to Omaha. On the other side, Susan was urging Astrid again to take care of Warren Buffett's daily life. Soon after, Warren Buffett began to live with Astrid. In a way, it was Susan who brought about this new relationship, and Susan is in San Francisco. Also cohabited with his tennis coach. This triangular relationship is a bit complicated. Wrong. They seem to be caught into triangles. However, for decades, Warren Buffett, Susan and Astrid, there is no taboo for this marriage of three people walking together. It is also completely open to the public. Susan and Astrid's relationship, it's also pretty well maintained. On the Christmas cards they send to their friends, the signatures were Warren, Susan and Astrid. Susan died in 2004, before death. She has always been Buffett's wife, regardless of the legal will, righteousness, or publicly. They spend a lot of time together each year. 2 years after Susan's death, Warren Buffett and Astrid get married. Buffett was 76 years old at the time. Astrid is 60 years old. After almost 30 years of cohabitation, he lived a monogamous life. Back to the story of the pulley struggle in 1951. After graduating from Columbia Business School, Warren Buffett wants to be his most beloved teacher, Benjamin Graham, worked. He is confident in that. After all, he was Graham's most admired student. He was even willing to do the job without leaving a penny, but Graham rejected him. Because of this period, there is still some prejudice against Jews. Wall Street discriminates against Jews. It's even more serious. Those big investment banks, none of them were willing to hire Jews. And Graham himself is a Jew. The way to combat this discrimination is my company. Only Jews. Although Warren Buffett is his most proud disciple, nor can it be an exception for him. Thereupon, Buffett had no choice but to return to Omaha felonly, worked for his father's agency. Be a stock salesman. This job as a salesman made him suffer. As a broker, you have to go door to door to do sales. Warren Buffett thinks, "I'm like a prescription drug feller." His income is not based on how well the drug works. It's based on how many copies of the medicine he sells. In other words, he is not here to heal the sick. It's about selling them as many pills as possible. For example, he clearly thinks that a stock will lose money in order to complete the sales performance. But I had to sell it desperately. Not only did he lose the respect of his customers, it also made him feel extreme pain in his heart. Pain is pain. Buffett has not been idle. During this period, he finished Dale Carnegie speech courses. He still holds this certificate to this day, hanging on the wall of Omaha's office, and said it was the most important degree I ever had. Long before the start of the course, Warren Buffett attended Dale. How Carnegie wins benefit and influence others. The weakness of human nature in the book, and the Chinese version, because he knows, if you want to make a difference in this world, you have to learn how to deal with people, and how to speak in front of an audience, in order to exercise their skills. He started at the University of Las Gar within the interior. Evening investment and personal finance courses are taught. After 2 or 3 years like this, his career has finally taken a turn for the better. The request of Warren Buffett again and again, Graham changed his mind, agreed to let Warren Buffett go to work at his company. Warren Buffett also became Graham Newman's first employee with a non-Jewish background. August 1954. Warren Buffett arrives in New York. The offices of Graham Newman are located here. His monthly salary at the time was $1,000. With their own talent and knowledge of stocks, Warren Buffett quickly became the company's #1 star. 2 years after arriving in New York, Buffett already has more than $170,000. This was a great asset in the United States in 1956. At that time, the family's living expenses throughout the year, it's only $12,000. At this time, Buffett is ready to retire. The 26-year-old Buffett uses the word retirement. It's not that you're ready to lie flat. He was his mentor at the time. Graham, already tired of the investment career, prepared to dissolve the company and concentrate on teaching. And there is no Graham. Buffett is also reluctant to work for others. It's better to go your own way. So he went back to Omaha. May 5, 1956. Warren Buffett, 25. An investment partnership was formed. Warren Buffett Associates, Inc., Buffy Associates Limited. He convened 7 partners, including his father-in-law, sister, aunt, college classmates. A first tranche of funds raised was $105. Zara Buffett invested $100 himself. Warren Buffett's fees are he takes half of the income above 4. 1/4 of the less than 4. At the same time, he promise, if you lose money, he will bear 25 of the loss. After 2 years of operation, the investment company has been running. Warren Buffett, 28, finally willing to buy a house in Omaha. He paid $31,500. Convert to today. That's almost $300. Zero since then. Although he later became the richest man in the world, he has also been living in this house. Never moved. 2014 General Meeting of Shareholders. He was honest that I had everything I wanted. My life is fantastic. If I have 6 or 8 houses, I'll do a lot of stuff for myself. Happiness has nothing to do with the size of the house. Warren Buffett later. Several partnerships were created one after another. At last, merged together to form Warren Buffett Partners, Inc., Buffett Partnership Limited. In addition to sleep, Warren Buffett's time, almost all of them are spent on running a business. This period, Warren Buffett practiced Graham thoroughly, value investing philosophy. These investments were made between 1956 and 1916. It grows with an average of more than 30 compound interest every year. The norm in the general market is only 7-11. So, how did Warren Buffett get those returns? At Columbia University that year, Graham taught Warren Buffett an investment strategy. By those, stocks whose share price is much lower than working capital. But there is a certain quality of stock. They call it picking up cigarette butts. It's like walking around the street. Behold, there are cigarette butts to pick up. One was finally found, with saliva on it. Looks disgusting, but you can still smoke it. So I bent down and picked it up. They took a sip, then continued to wander around the streets. Then pick it up. Although it doesn't look very decent, this cigarette butt stock. They did make a lot of money for Buffett in the early days. The first 2 years of Warren Buffett's partnership. In order to expand the scale of funds, he had to go around pulling investment. One afternoon in 1957, Warren Buffett goes to the house of Davis, the doctor in town. Now wanted to throw $10,000 in. Warren Buffett noted, Dr. Viss didn't seem interested. His mouth was dry. Davis, however, listened absently. Warren Buffett felt in his heart, this business should be out of play. I didn't expect the conversation to be over. Davis and Mrs. After a few whispers of discussion on the side, he turned to Buffett and said, I'll invest $100,000. Buffett was a little surprised, but still politely asked Drive Davis, I'm glad I got the money, but when I was talking about it just now, you really didn't pay much attention to me. Why did you decide that way now? Dr. Davis replied, because you remind me of someone. Charlie Munger. This is the first time Buffett has heard of Charlie Munger. He was curious to know how much trust he could make. So much so that he is just a little similar to him, people who can get a large investment from others. What exactly does it look like? 2 years later, Warren Buffett finally got his wish. In 1959, Munger returned home to attend to his father's funeral. Davis introduced Buffett to him. That night, Warren Buffett walked into the Zhangyi Cafe at the agreed location. He heard a man talking loudly. He was immediately captivated. According to bystanders, Warren Buffett was surprisingly quiet that day. He usually likes to dominate conversations, but was patiently listening to others all night. The person who was talking was Charlie Munger. Charlie was a lawyer in Los Angeles at the time, 6 years older than Warren Buffett. When I was a child, my home was just a few blocks away, but they didn't meet in person. Same with Warren Buffett. Munger is also an avid reader, called a walking bookshelf by children. The two hit it off at first sight. Buffett later recalled that Munger kept telling jokes, and he was amused by the joke he told and rolled on the ground. Me too. They were both impressed with each other. The conversation is endless. Others at the table, none seem to exist to them. They only have each other in their eyes. The next day, I met again. The topic between two people can never be finished. Munger then returned to California. Buffett talks to him on the phone every day. Sometimes a dozen can be hours. Munger brings to know the rich Californians, all introduced to Warren Buffett. Many of them have become Buffett's investors. Arguably, it was Munger who took Warren Buffett from the plains of Nebraska, brought to the rich West Coast. Warren Buffett has his own IQ and ability to invest, particularly conceited. He felt that Munger was more powerful than him. He said so in the future. Munger used the power of thought to expand my horizons, let me at an extraordinary speed. The evolution from orangutans to humans. Warren Buffett felt that Munger's genius was too condescending to be a lawyer. You should make an investment. At his suggestion, Munger is outside of the lawyer's business. Also started to make some investments. Later, with the investment to earn far more money than lawyers, he quit the legal profession altogether, specializing in investment. When we first met in 1959, Warren Buffett is 29 years old. Munger is 35 years old. Since then, they have been close in friendship. The perfect combination of careers will take more than half a century. With the wisdom and connections of Munger backing up, Warren Buffett's career is even more powerful. His investment income was much higher than the Dow Jones gains. It has brought rich returns to the partners. Gradually, his reputation in Omaha grew. People are rumors. Follow Warren Buffett to invest and make a fortune. A lot of people. He even made a special trip to the restaurant he frequented, or follow him to the club, just to be able to sit next to him and listen to a word. By this time, the profits of Omaha had already taken shape. He no longer has to go through a lot of money to raise money. Just sit in your own office, wait for someone to send the money, and he has to be picky again and again before approving whether to let the other party join. In the early 1960s, Warren Buffett established a partnership company. There are already as many as 7. Assets under management amounted to $1.31 million. By January 1962, in total, Warren Buffett owns 10 different partnerships. More than $7 million has been funded. His personal assets also reached $1.25 million. So far, the millionaire dream made when I was young was achieved 3 years ahead of schedule. And in 1965, Warren Buffett is 35 years old. That's what he said when he was a kid. The target year to become a millionaire, or Warren Buffett's partner firm, that's amounted to $37 million. His personal assets also amounted to $6.08 million. Still in 1965, despite the return on Buffett's investment, reached an all-time high of 47.2, but it was also made once. An investment that he will be thinking about in the future. Berkshire. Yes, despite Berk, after the summer will grow into a supergiant with a market capitalization of more than $1 trillion at one point. But Warren Buffett said, his investment was one of the biggest mistakes it has ever made. Here's the thing. From 1962 onwards, Warren Buffett began to buy textile mills on the verge of bankruptcy, shares of Berkshire Hathaway. At that time, the stock price was $7. A few years later, Stanton, then Berkshire president, asked Buffett at what price he is prepared to sell his stakes. Buffett replied $11.50. Stanton said okay. We make deals. As Stanton gave Buffett issues a letter of acquisition. However, The offer price on the purchase letter was $11.375. This is $0.125 less than originally agreed. Warren Buffett seized the price on the takeover, furious. In a fit of rage, not only did he not sell his stocks, instead, they began to buy a lot of Berkshire stock. Finally, by May 1965, he officially took control of the Berkshire Company. Afterwards, Buffett said, "This is an extremely stupid decision." He said it was due to my childish behavior and that of Stanton. After all, 125 cents is nothing to us. He lost his job. And I found out. Yourself will partner with more than 25 of the funds invested in one. He know very little about bad industry, but became the puppy chasing the car. Because the textile industry in the United States was in decline at that time, Berkshire's textile business has been losing money almost year after year. Stuck in the mire. At this time, Charlie Munger said to Buffett, "Though I also think it's a stupid mistake, but I'll show you how to correct this mistake." He said, "Warren, don't buy any more companies like Berkshire. But now that you're in control of Berkshire, then on that basis, buy a good company at a reasonable price. Stop buying a reasonable company at an excellent price. In other words, abandon you from your hero Benjamin. Everything learned from Gra-An. He is effective, but only effective in small-scale practice." And after many hesitations, Buffett eventually followed Munger's advice. Draw a lesson from a bitter experience. Warren Buffett's trading ideas and investment style. Significant changes have taken place. After the funds under management are getting bigger and bigger, he got rid of the habit of smoking cigarette butts. He was with Munger, worked together to tap into those really high-quality enterprises, and then buy at the right price and hold it for the long term. Some of the most famous of these are the strokes. Capital includes $1.1970 to acquisition of Ecstasy Candy in 1972. Warren Buffett $25 million. Acquired a California-based confectionery company, Joy Candy. This company has a near-perfect business model. Brand loyalty is high. A large amount of cash flow is generated every year, but it doesn't require much capital investment, and that's exactly what Buffett and Charlie are looking for. That kind of excellent company. It was a happy event. Handy has a net worth of around $7 million to $8 million. In the holder, the asking price of the wedding family is $30 million. Although in the end, Buffett counter-offered to $25 million. But if it's Warren Buffett during the period of picking up cigarette butts, with the price of 3-4 times the company's net assets, go and acquire a company. It's insane. It was clearly not the cigarette but he wanted to smoke. It is on the wedding suites. Herein Buffett completed the most important one of his life. The concept of investment has been upgraded, from picking up cigarette butts to snowballing. That is from a company that buys reasonably at an excellent price, to the company that buys excellence at a reasonable price. And the later performance of the Joy Candy also verified. This transformation of investment philosophy has been a great success. In a letter to shareholders in 2007, Warren Buffett said, 35 years from the acquisition in 1972 to 2007. Joy Candy is a total of POC. Jia generated a pre-tax profit of 1.35 billion yuan. If you count these years, a growth of the market value of the candy itself. This investment is in 35 years. The return on investment for Warren Buffett is about 100 times. Average annual rate of return 14. Much higher than the average for the broader U.S. stock market. To buying the Washington Post Company in 1973, the United States has experienced an economic crisis. Stock prices plummeted. Wall Street was in a panic. Warren Buffett bought the Washington Post at this time. This company owns 4 television stations. There are also the Washington Post and Newsweek, such heavyweight newspapers and magazines. The market capitalization at the time was only $800,000. Warren Buffett carefully analyzed the information of who you think this newspaper is in the Washington area. A legal monopoly position has been obtained. Lasting competitiveness. Worth at least $500 million. So he boldly invested in the shares. Within 2 months, Warren Buffett bought 10 of the shares of Huayu, became the second largest shareholder of CNPC. These cost only $10. $6 million in total. After Warren Buffett bought these shares, he didn't sell it for a profit just because it went up. It will not panic sell because of its fall. Instead, it was held for a long time until 1995. $10.06 million was originally invested. Not only has the value of the stock risen to more than $400 million, it is also given to Bachman every year, got about $7 million in dividends. 3. Invest in Coca-Cola. Buffett once said, because of the acquisition of Joik Andy, changed the investment strategy, prompted him to invest in Coca-Cola. He and Munger found out, Coca-Cola has been around for more than 100 years. No matter what difficulties come across, a performance is growing steadily. World wars, the Great Depression, countless economic crises, none of them stopped Coca-Cola's growth. According to their research, if you want to copy the Coca-Cola brand from scratch, at least $100 billion will need to be invested. At that time, Coca-Cola's market capitalization was only $15 billion. October 1987, there has been another stock market crash in the United States, historically known as Black Monday. Within half a day, Dow Jones fell 22.6. The New York Stock Exchange evaporated 1/8 of the country's GDP. For a long time after that, almost all of the companies' stock prices have plummeted. Coca-Cola is no exception, but just the Coca-Cola board of directors. When you fall into the clouds, they found someone is eating a lot of Coca-Cola stock. The person who buys stocks is none other than Warren Buffett. 2 years thereafter, Warren Buffett keeps buying. In total, 7 of Coca-Cola shares were bought. $1.2 billion was spent on this. Then, the net worth of the company is only $3.04 billion. In 1991, Warren Buffett bought Coca-Cola stock. It has increased to $3.743 billion, 266 2-year return. Thereafter, Warren Buffett has always owned Coca-Cola stock. Until now, in addition to these classic cases, Apple and American Express, which are also heavily positioned under the blog, Bank of America and many more. These are high-quality enterprises that have been favored for a long time. As the stocks of the companies in which Buffett invests soared, Warren Buffett's personal wealth, it is also growing in geometric progression. In 2008, at the age of 78, Buffett surpassed Bill Gates, become the richest man in the world. Currently September 2024, Warren Buffett's personal fortune is $150.01 billion, ranked 6th in the world. He is also the only one, the world's top 10 richest people with their investments. Because Warren Buffett's investment performance is so amazing, he writes an annual letter to his shareholders. It has become a must-read Bible for investors around the world. The annual Berkshire Shareholders Meeting, that is also known as the Woodstock of the investment world, as more and more people help to hear Warren Buffett's sermons. From 2.0 onwards, Warren Buffett simply takes it out once a year. An opportunity to have lunch with him, come out for auction, the auction of Warren Buffett's lunch. It becomes a hot topic in the investment world every year, except for the 2 cancellations in 2020 and 2021 due to the new crown epidemic. A total of 21 times were held. The first, the winning bid was only $25,000. Until the last time in 2022, it sold for a whopping $19 million. One of them got 2 shots in a row. The winners of the auction are 6 anonymous. They come from 5 countries. It is worth mentioning, the first Chinese Wen Yongping to photograph Buffett's lunch, he sold for $620,100 in 2006. Back then, he also brought a young man to lunch. This young man is Huang Zheng Buffy, who later founded Pinduoduo. The proceeds of the lunch are auctioned. It didn't fit into my own pocket. Instead, it was all donated to charity. In his later years, Warren Buffett began to actively participate in philanthropy, especially after the death of his wife Susan in 2004. Give him his views on life and wealth. A lot has changed. In 2006, Warren Buffett announced, owns 85 of Berkshire stock. Donate them all. 5-6 of them went to Bill. Mr. and Mrs. Gates set up Bill and the Melinda Gates Foundation. This is in the history of human philanthropy. The largest donation of all. In February 2011, Warren Buffett accepted the new U.S. President Barack Obama, awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. President Ma said, Warren Buffett is not only one of the richest people in the world, but also one of the most admired and respected people. At the same time, Obama praised him, proves that integrity is not just a good quality, and it's also good for business, and will have the vast majority of their wealth. Dedication to the world is suffering, people who are sick or need help. November 280, 2023. Charlie Munger died. His 100th birthday is just 33 days away. From now on, Warren Buffett has lost his beloved business soulmate. In a letter to shareholders the following year, Warren Buffett devotes an entire page to Munger's tribute. Munger is said to be the chief architect of Hathaway. He is the general contractor. It describes his relationship with Munger as a brother and father. August 30, 2024. Warren Buffett celebrates his 94th birthday. On the same day, the share price of POK Shrimp hit an all-time high. It closed at $715,299.90 per share. The market capitalization also exceeded $1 trillion. Maybe this is what the market hath given to the 94-year-old Buffett. The best birthday gift. At a general meeting of shareholders under POC, a shareholder asked Warren Buffett, "You are now the richest person in the country. What is your next goal in life?" Warren Buffett's answer to this question is simple. I'm going to be the longest-lived person in the United States. Today, at the age of 94, Warren Buffett, he is still active in his favorite investment business. He said it felt good. But he was also fully aware that he was playing overtime. At last, if you want to sum up Buffett's life in one sentence, then this sentence will be life like a snowball. You just have to find wet snow and long slopes. A snowball will get bigger and bigger. Thank you for watching today. For those of you who want to watch this video, you can also find your own. That long snowball ramp. If you find the video interesting, please subscribe, like and comment. I will try to bring you more good works.